Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you're all doing well. To start things off, China's Center for Information and Industry Development has released its latest ranking of crypto projects. A total of 35 projects were evaluated this month, with Tron debuting near the top of the list. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has climbed up in the rankings as well. The Center for Information and Industry Development, otherwise known as CCID, under China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, released the 10th update of its crypto ranking project on Tuesday. The center noted that this is the second update this year, and 35 projects were evaluated, with Tron being the only addition since the last evaluation. EOS still occupies the number one spot. Tron debuted at number 2, dethroning Ethereum, which now ranks 3rd. Bitcoin ranks 13th this month, up from 15th, where it was last month. And Bitcoin Cash is at 27, and it was at 27 before. For those who are not or may also be still looking at the screen, the list goes as follows for the top ranking coins according to China. EOS is number 1, followed by Tron, then Ethereum, then GX Chain, BitShares, Ontology, Nulls, Lisk, Steam, Neo, Quantum, Nano, and then you have Bitcoin, and the list kind of continues to go on and on as they went through 35 different coins. The center described newcomer Tron, launched last May, as a low-level public chain with high throughput, high expansion, and high reliability. The CCID explained that the latest assessment is still using the 3 primary indicators. They are basic technology, applicability, and creativity. The crypto projects that have improved the most are Nano, Verge, and Quantum. For the basic technology category, the top 5 public chains are EOS, Tron, BitShares, GX Chain, and Nano. The top 5 projects for applicability are Ethereum, Neo, Nebulous, Tron, and Ontology. And the creativity category has the top 5 projects as Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, Lisk, and Tron. Not really surprised that Tron is actually in the listing. I'm more surprised that Tron took this long to get into the rankings. Tron, there's never really not a day where Tron isn't in the news in some sort of way. So like I said, I'm kind of surprised that it took that long. Also interesting to note that the 2 coins that were talking about passing Ethereum, or that they said that they consider themselves to be Ethereum killers, if you will, have now in some way passed by Ethereum. I mean, I don't know exactly how long that's going to last. We know that Constantinople and St. Petersburg, I think it's called, are also should be happening by tomorrow. But the point is, I like indicators like this. I like charts like this. I know a lot of people don't really care for them, or they think that they're crap, or whatever the case might be. But as I've mentioned many times before, these offer like tiny windows, if you will, into where people could potentially be putting their money into in the cryptocurrency space. Because if you're relatively new to the cryptocurrency space, you're probably not going to have any idea where you're going or what you're doing. So when you hear, especially if you happen to be in China or in an Asian country, and you believe in the CCID's word, and they tell you that these are going to be the top coins, or these are the most applicable, or the most creative, or the most to have the biggest chance of kind of making it, you kind of pay attention to these things. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. Next up, Nasdaq is now sending real-time Bitcoin and Ethereum index level information on its Global Index Data Service, or GIDS, G-I-D-S. Brave new coins, Bitcoin Liquid Index, or BLX, and Ethereum Liquid Index, or ELX, launched on Monday, a week after Nasdaq announced it would add the new indexes to its suite of more than 4,000 indices. Nasdaq, the leading benchmark for U.S. technology, equity trading, and indexing, onboarded the BLX and ELX to increase price transparency in the crypto markets. The BLX is an aggregate of Bitcoin spot price on the 6th biggest exchanges. They are Bitfinex, Bitstamp, Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and Itbit. The data for ELX dates back to 2015, around the time of the genesis of Ethereum. So the major news is that Nasdaq is now playing its own part. Yeah, they have like another price index, but the main news is, and you kind of get lost when you read through things like this. You kind of like, oh, that's cool. They're showing the price, so they have like an index for exactly what's happening. Remember, I told you, and I'm going to continue saying this until this happens, that the places and things that we have in the cryptocurrency space aren't going to last forever. The crypto, how do I say this? Like the nicest way. Where the money is, or rather, the Nasdaq is basing their price index off of Bitcoin and Ethereum off of these exchanges. That means that they trust these exchanges, that they probably have some type of money already in these exchanges, and therefore they believe that they are believable enough to have their prices quoted on the Nasdaq from these cryptocurrency exchanges, if that kind of makes any sense. You know, when you're as large as the Nasdaq or the New York Stock Exchange, you don't randomly get your prices. You don't make up your own prices. You comprise prices of other indexes from around the world, and these are the ones that they have kind of chosen. It's going to be a very finite space for a very long amount of time until I think more major players actually get into the cryptocurrency game. And what I mean by that is that when you're talking about institutional money getting into the cryptocurrency space, they're looking at these prices. They're not looking at a coin market cap. They're not looking at so-and-so and so. They're going to be paying attention to these things. I don't know how long coin market cap is going to actually be around. They've already had so many problems when it comes to like controversy and stuff like that. But we already see that the indexes and like the prices are changing, and yeah, I guess that's kind of all that I really have to say. I had something else in my head. Apologies already in advance at the beginning of this video. I have a very bad headache. For some reason, the sun is constantly shining in my eye, and I can't do anything about it. It's also contributing to my headache as well. I keep tilting my head sideways, trying to like get away from it, and it's just not working. So the sun is in my eye as I'm trying to read the screen, and it's causing my headache to kind of go insane. So this is why I sound this way. If I sound a bit off this morning, my nose is also stuffed. It's just kind of, I mean, life just hitting me in the face all at once. Alrighty, let's move on. So this happened about a day or two ago, but it's still like the news is still permeating everywhere. South Korean crypto company known as ENJIN wallet has reportedly been approved by Samsung to back a blockchain wallet in its new Galaxy S10 smartphone. Anonymous source, because they're always anonymous. Sources told NBKrypto today on Monday. The anonymous interlocutors provided an image to the outlet that was purportedly posted by T-World, Korea's second largest telecom company. The screenshot shows the ENJIN wallet being used on the Galaxy S10 for Ethereum transactions. The image also features the ENJIN coin, or ENJ, and basic attention token, an Ethereum-based token used in digital advertising. Here's the actual screenshot right here. According to sources familiar with the matter, the ENJIN wallet will be installed in the Galaxy S10, which is expected to be used by over 31 million users, NBKrypto today stated. The wallet can reportedly be used to send and receive ERC20 tokens and ERC1155 crypto game assets. Samsung is reportedly relying on decentralized technology in order to secure the distribution of data, manage and share content, and manage digital assets, including in-game ownership, transactions, and public notes. So the interesting thing is that we had the news yesterday from Electronium that apparently they're releasing their own blockchain phone, and now we have Samsung apparently having BAT and also ENJIN listed on their new phone. I mean, it's clear that everyone is getting into cryptocurrency. It's more so I'm shocked at how they're getting into cryptocurrency, if that kind of makes any sense. I expected when the largest names in the space, especially Samsung, would be getting into the cryptocurrency sphere, that they would probably be supporting Bitcoin and Ethereum first. But I have to, I mean, in all honesty, I'm kind of relieved and surprised that they're actually supporting other coins, because for me it's fairly clear that Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum, and to a lesser extent EOS, are going to be around for quite a long amount of time. But there are tons of other altcoins that do deserve support and a bit of a spotlight. So it's interesting to see that we have other major players in the game who are semi-announcing that they're going to be covering other coins, because to be fair, if these coins hadn't been listed onto this platform, especially when we end up getting other cryptocurrency-based phones or blockchain phones that have other coins as their main coin, I feel like if they were all just Bitcoin or all Ethereum, the other altcoins would have been in obscurity very or relatively quick. So I have the thing open right here. There we go. You can kind of see the chart went completely insane when the news actually hit. The coin is down a tiny bit. I guess maybe a lot of the hype has kind of subsided, if you will. But I mean, to be fair, on average, the last 7 days, it's more than 100% that the coin is actually up. So this shows that there's definitely some interest still there. I assume once we get proper information on the not validity of the situation, but more so like more information, because you have periods of hype and then the prices ends up going down. But if we have like proper news from Samsung and they're like, yeah, we've partnered with ENJIN and we are going to be using ENJIN the full way, I think the coin's price would completely go insane. That is not financial advice. That is not me telling you to go out there and buy ENJIN coin, especially as it is a relatively kind of obscure coin. It's not something that we hear about every single day. But the fact is, we do have this screenshot, so there could be good things in the future for ENJIN coin. Quite interesting, right? It's something that you don't really hear about, but then you still end up getting news about it, and it's kind of like this really crazy news that they could have like formed a partnership with Samsung while no one was really paying attention. Kind of insane. Next up, for the first time since its inception, Bitcoin surpassed online payment giant known as PayPal in annual transaction volume. Per the data collected from global statistics portals, the Bitcoin network posted $1.3 trillion worth of transaction volume in 2018. Within the same time frame, PayPal recorded $578 billion worth of payment transactions. It was the second time in a row Bitcoin outran PayPal. In 2017, the digital currency network had posted $543 billion more transaction volume than the global firm. Here's the actual chart right here. It seems we're still not... I can barely even make out what this one actually even is. I see Visa and MasterCard. I'm fairly certain, before we even continue on, that we are probably going to skyrocket up to around this level once we do actually have a bull run. If you think of all the corridors and stuff like that we actually have now to be able to put money into cryptocurrencies, keeping in mind in 2017, in the dark times, we had Coinbase, we had Kraken, and I think we had maybe 2 other places, and now we have easily over 150 different places to be able to put money into cryptocurrency back and forth. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to, maybe this is just me, maybe I am just a weird thinker, that Bitcoin is only 10 years old, and like the amount of transactions that go through it, like it's in the trillions of dollars, if you kind of want to even put it that way. And this is before Bitcoin even becomes a household name. Like imagine during the next bull run, I assume we'll probably hit anywhere from $3 to $4 trillion throughout the entirety of the year, maybe even a bit more. Like that's really insane. Like that's worth more than multiple countries around the world. Like that's more transaction volume than there are countries around the world who don't even have close to that amount of transaction volume flowing through them. It's kind of like completely insane. Regardless of the stark difference between their performances, both Bitcoin and PayPal benefited from an increase in remittance. The World Bank reported that overall cross-border transactions grew 10% to 689 billion in 2018. Large diaspora and overseas expat population contributed hugely to the uptrend, leading to higher usage of services like PayPal and Bitcoin. We had news like that. I forgot exactly what it was in 2018. Sorry, I'm like rubbing my eyes and trying not to look at the sun. It's so intense, you don't even understand. Like it's just like this really bright sun. I have nowhere else to move. My computer that I'm on is really weird. It has to like be plugged into the actual power source, or it just doesn't do well. So I have it plugged into the wall, trying to make sure that it charges so that it doesn't turn off as I'm making the video. I have to sit in a certain direction so that the sun isn't pointing in my eyes, but I can't really get away from it because the moment that I look into the screen, it's pointing. It's just a lot going on. My life is kind of ridiculous. I completely forgot where I was in my mind. Yeah, I completely lost it. It's all gone. The point is, Bitcoin passed PayPal and transaction volume. PayPal has been around for quite a long amount of time. PayPal also has a lot of money like backing it. PayPal has like tons of like people working for it. I'm certain there are at least a 5-digit number of people around the world who are working in different offices working for PayPal, and Bitcoin is kind of just Bitcoin. It has like, there are many developers, but there's like a core team who works on it. It's interesting to see how quickly something, yes, that's exactly what it was. It was in 2018, we had more news that because of the economic restrictions and the sanctions that the U.S. was placing on a number of countries, it was like 8 different countries, in 2018, that more people, they were asking like younger people, do you send money back to your family in so-and-so country? And they said, yeah, I do. And they said, do you use Western Union, MoneyGram? And a lot of the younger people were saying that they are trying to do it in cryptocurrencies. They were either using like private cryptocurrencies or they were actually using Bitcoin. So it's very interesting to see the trend moving, because if you ask any of our parents or grandparents, they would say probably Western Union, MoneyGram, or they would say, someone sent me money on PayPal, so let's send it through PayPal. But now you're getting younger people talking about, I'll send my friend or family money through Monero or Zcash or Dash or even Bitcoin. So that's because of the economic sanctions, you can't really tell that. It's all very fascinating. And I think this is exactly where the world is going. A little scary because of all the economic turmoil that the world is facing right now, but it's still interesting to see that we have ways of getting around it, if that kind of makes any sense. Anyway, let's move on. I found like the perfect spot. The sun's like not in my eyes. I'm going to try and like maximize my potential right now. The Barbados Stock Exchange, or the BSE, will launch regulated security token offerings, or STOs, on its platform. The Barbados Stock Exchange will work closely with Canadian fintech company BlockStation to design and implement trading solutions for STOs and for crypto assets. Managing Director of BSE, Marlon Yarde, said, "We are pleased to sign this agreement with BlockStation to accelerate our go-to-market strategy for security token offerings. We want to provide access to capital and liquidity for both local and international businesses through our International Securities Market, or ISM. BlockStation which completed a 60-day digital currency trading pilot with the Jamaican Stock Exchange, will provide an end-to-end solution for the BSE." I was just about to mention this as well. We had news before, and we haven't really heard information about this at all. We had this in 2018 after the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq, and I believe the Swiss Stock Exchange and the German Stock Exchange came forward talking about that they were going to be listing and having cryptocurrency trading platforms, which is insane to think about. Why is Bitcoin not at $45,000 right now? After they announced all of these things, the Jamaican Stock Exchange came forward and said that they would also be listing cryptocurrencies. So when I read that the Barbados, my goodness, my English, I'm trying to rush because I'm so afraid of the sun blinding me. You don't understand. This is like a whole like you guys are on my journey as I like flee the sun so I can actually read the screen. Just because of the information of the Barbados Stock Exchange, I guess they may be doing a slightly different one, like just listing security tokens. But I assumed that there had to be some type of a collaboration, if you will, between the Barbados Stock Exchange and also the Jamaican Stock Exchange. It's really interesting because I want to know exactly. We still have yet to hear from, I think, except for the German one, what coins they're going to be listing. I think we know for the German one. I'm not even like 100% certain at this point. Like, none of the stock exchanges have announced which coins that they're going to be listing, and it's driving me absolutely insane. On that same exact note, wouldn't it be very interesting if the New York Stock Exchange, because of the whole back thing, ends up listing? I already assumed that they were going to, but if they end up listing XRP onto their platform. And this is the only reason why Coinbase actually added it, because there's so much stuff happening behind the scenes with people talking crap about XRP being listed onto it. But Coinbase, at least from my knowledge and from what I've been reading the last couple of years, they they really don't care about decentralization or, you know, the so-and-so blah, 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 blah. It's just a money thing right now. They have so many other investors who are on the side kind of pulling the puppet string, telling them exactly what to do. My opinion is you can kind of, when there's big money, they can, you know, push their weight around, if you kind of want to say that. I thought it was kind of weird that Coinbase added XRP so late, or even at all. They were bound to do it at some point, but I have a strange feeling, because I also have been speculating for quite a bit of time that the people from Coinbase are actually working with or have knowledge about anything that's happening within the Nasdaq or within the New York Stock Exchange, because these are the very few entities and companies within New York State who are actually allowed to deal with cryptocurrency. So one could assume that they have been in closed meetings in some sort of way together. And I feel like that Coinbase knew or knows that they're going to be listing certain coins, and this is why Coinbase is trying to add them beforehand, so that they can kind of say that, yeah, we got the jump on them, and we got the, you know, we listed it before them. Pay close attention to exactly the coins that Coinbase ends up listing over the next couple of, I want to say, weeks. They should be smart enough to just start rolling out other coins by now. But if they end up listing a whole bunch of other coins that then end up listing as well on the New York Stock Exchange, this is once again a huge big indicator of where money will be going, because I don't know. Anyway, Coinbase is definitely there for the money, and I think that they're trying to do strategic moves, but it seems a bit like sloppy and floppy, like they don't really understand what's going on. But I assume that they're trying to do everything because maybe they're just trying not to sully their platform, if you will. But I love how we got, we were talking about Barbados, and then Jamaica, and then we were like Coinbase, New York City. But yeah, let's move on. To kind of finish things up, without reading through too much of this, there's a company called Invenium Capital Partners, or ICP, and they're planning on tokenizing an entire building or something like that. It says ICP is about to put this idea of digitizing everything to the test. The company plans to tokenize some $260 million in 4 private real estate and debt transactions, starting with a WeWork-occupied building in downtown Miami, Florida. Announced on Tuesday, the firm intends to sell tokenized shares of the building valued at $65 million, likely the largest piece of real estate to be financed this way to date. So this is just another, like I said, breezing over. This is just another instance of what we're seeing that happened in New York. I think there was only one flat that actually had this situation happen to it, where pretty much it's happening slowly, but it's still happening, where people are tokenizing, or rather they are dividing shares in property in some sort of way so that multiple people could have them. It's kind of like a timeshare. I mean, I assume maybe these are going to be like timeshares, and maybe just have equity in the entire place so that if they decide to rent out the place to other renters, the rent then maybe gets split up evenly between all of them. That's kind of one of the only ways that I could really think of that transaction kind of making a lot of sense. I mean, because it says you have to have, it says in order to participate, potential buyers must hold at least $10 million in crypto with a minimum purchase of $500,000. So it's not clearly for everyone, but they're going to be putting this on Ethereum, and I thought it was kind of interesting that they are, more people are ramping up on things like this. Eventually, it has to trickle down, if you will, if you get that joke. It has to trickle down in some sort of way. Like, it's always like the larger players in the game who end up doing stuff like this. They end up finding a way to do the really cool stuff first, but eventually when we do have normal companies doing stuff like this is why I mentioned in another video before, I'm very excited about the idea of being able to buy like fractional portions of flats and homes and stuff like that, and even potentially maybe even buildings one day through cryptocurrency or through the blockchain, so that you have like actual complete trusted ownership of what you're owning. Anyway, I thought this was kind of interesting. This is happening more and more, and they're all being like written on Ethereum, which is kind of interesting. Prices aren't really going anywhere. I mean, not at all. Like XRP, I can kind of see the screen. Like the sun is reflecting off of my jumper, and it's not. Anyway, I'm done talking about the sun. Prices aren't really going that insane right now. Everything is kind of completely trending sideways because Bitcoin is trending sideways. XRP is down a tiny bit. Yeah, nothing really is going insane. I'm glad that someone stopped pumping Satoshi's Vision. That was very annoying to see like random pumps on that. Something called Boltcoin is up by 31%. Haven't heard of it. I'm pretty sure you have not as well. The volume is also only $1 million. So it's probably not that difficult to get that moving up there. I'm very anxious and waiting for a time where we finally get like just the coins that are going to survive kind of make it, because there's so many things like this, and I know nothing about Boltcoin, what they do, who they are, what kind of coin or system they run, regardless of how cool or awesome or how fast their transactions might be. But a lot of times when you see stuff like this kind of jump into the rankings, people ask me, what do I think about that coin? And I 99.9% of the time never have anything to really say about that coin, because it's so obscure. These things like jump into, people pump these coins full of money. They rise into the rankings. Other people say, wow, this coin is now number 20. We should desperately get into it. When if you even compare next to it, like Zcash only has $144 million worth of transaction volume. And that just dropped. The point is, pay attention to where you have your money. I'm very excited for when the market does get moving and when we finally know, or can just simply focus on the larger coins, because there are a lot of scams out there. I don't know. I know nothing about Bolt, so I can't say if it is a scam. Just throwing around general knowledge. Alrighty, everyone. That is definitely my headache's kind of gone, so that's Good thing. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. I do appreciate every single ounce of your support. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Vlad the Impaler, Galaboa Snake, Rai, Brady Nields, L. Doug, Arthur Yaku, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nick Mangialavori, Travis Haynes, Gordon Nikic, Yasha Harari, Anthony Charles, Nick Kanaya, singer, songwriter Mike Savitz, Jim Gardner, Jared Schneider, Jeremy Fox, and Amy Starsheen. Thank you all very, very much for your generosity. Yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.